Alright, welcome back to Soul Spark Tarot. I'm your host, Mr. Renew, and today we got ourselves a nice little channel message. And in this channel message, it's a part of our 25 days of Christmas. So, we're using our Jack Skeleton deck. Let's tap in and see what these energies are like. Let's cleanse out this energy and let's get to yapping. Oh yeah. I think I heard today was like a full moon or something, but that person was completely wrong. It's nothing of the sort. It's like a crescent moon or something, but yeah. I hope everybody is doing well. Today is the 6th. So, day number 6. How has your December been going? I'm hoping that it's been going well. I'm hoping that it's been helping you see and change and do and be and exist at the highest. But please do not be afraid to be at the lowest. And please do not be afraid to be at something on the in-between. Just do not be afraid. Fear is an illusion of all things. So, as you take the time to reflect about where your energy should be, where you should be concentrating your focus, as you take a look at the energies that you're calling back and the energies that you're recasting, you now need to do the next step. In this next step, this is the time for you to understand the energies that you possess, and then you need to put a face on those energies. No more being just a thought. No longer can you allow these energies just sit as bodiless beings. You gotta use your house astrology to really help you see the full picture, but the idea is to give that energy or that thought a face. Don't be the energy, be something delivering the energy. Be the communicator. Be in a position to where you're on a soapbox for yourself as you reach for a deeper part of yourself. So what's the overall energy outside of that little channel message? Oh, you want to go? Emperor. Oh, I feel like I got to get one more. So, we got the Emperor card and we got our one more with the Ace. So, it's really cool.
Here's a great way to level up your investment game.
I think it's going to be super cool that if you took the time to sit back and see what you're the bomb at. And I think what you're doing is you're revamping the things that you know that you're good at because you're seeing it from a different point of view. So let me give you an example. Today, as I was on my walk, I realized that when I decided to get off trail and walking the rocks, it reminded me of the time where I used to be able to go to the mountain like every day. I would hike like every day. And then it took me back to a time where I didn't live right down the street and I lived like 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away, 15, because, if you drive fast, and you get there, but, for real, like 20-minute trip. But I remember how good it felt when I would take that 20-minute trip. I would stop and get me some coffee, have a smoke a little bit, playing music, listening, feeling good, and just, on my way to just be in nature. And then I remember the times where I just went on the occasion. And then I remember so many previous times it helped me organize and sort out that energy and just say, I like being in a position of outside. It really didn't matter if it was on the mountain, but I'm using this one mountain so I can show you the different time frames across this one space. I've hiked the same mountain over and over for a decade, but I remember the different reasons why. I remember the different feelings I had. And because I was able to be the master of those emotions, I was able to sit in mine while allowing others to express theirs. In other words, I can sit in the fire and not get burned, and everybody else can be flamed and hot and angry, and I can just be cool, chilling. But the emotional balance from the inside is shown as that protection from the flames of others on the outside. And so, as you carry your own spark, as you realize that this spark is created from water, you start to understand the world from a different point of view. How can wet something water like and it's wet, how can I create a spark? Well, you're thinking fire, but I'm not saying fire, I'm saying a spark. And an electrical charge is automatic inside of water. And people don't tend to know that, but the emotional charge that you carry across these different areas of what we call our experiences, the flame itself, with a thought attached, those things are helping us to see what we've done before. Just like when I've hiked the same mountain before and before. But then I remember different times and I remember different experiences. So it's allowing me to change all of the emotional expectations. The only way it can shift is through an electrical discharge. In other words, I got to be inspired some kind of way through some sensation. As I develop the awareness of the sensation, then it's going to allow me to pinpoint what can trigger me into that similar state. Not the same, nothing that can ever be the same, but it can be a very close similar. You know, so close that we don't even consider it to be different. That's the kind of energy that I'm seeing with this emperor, but it's talking about the changes of how we feel with certain thoughts by giving that thought a role, creating a body, turn it into a character, and then allowing that character to have dialogue. And that dialogue is the thoughts that you normally will participate in, but now you're taking a step back and you're letting it participate around you. King of Potions. What the fuck did I say? I'm trying to tell you, like this thing, it comes strong, it comes hard because I'm not trying to do it, but then I have to do it. I've always fought just being on here, but I've always like go on my walks and I question like why do I just start releasing so much knowledge, and just like venting and like a part of me is afraid to come out. And it's like I'm not afraid at all to be out here talking in front of people whatsoever. But there's a part of me that is always shy. There's a part of me that like even it's shy with me. It's like I'm my only best friend in this one particular case. And in that one particular case, I had to realize the differences from how that part of me was viewing the world. And so it is seen to me as like a child who has a best friend and it doesn't know how to make any other friends. So it sticks to this one and it's weird with other people and it's shy with other people. But when you're by yourself, like when I'm out in nature, it comes out and it's free and it's always releasing certain thoughts. Well, I've already associated those thoughts and that experiences over and over and over because I can recall it happening over and over and over in the routines that I've done over and over and over. Notice, I'm trying to put emphasis on that earthly aspect. And I'm not one to really care about the earthly things. I'm really immersed in the spirit, which is why I live a earthly life. And it's kind of spiritual. It's becoming more and more so, just like all of it, the things I was so afraid of because I was afraid to lose the routines of over and over and over like normal society. And I realized that there's so many other people living an abnormal life that the individuality becomes so unique and so rare that it's something that I'm seeking more than anything else. That's just the emotion that I have behind, being optimistic about my situation. That's it. But I'm sitting in a position to where I can manage those emotions a lot better because I can see them. I can see when they're being carried. I got the light, but the light is sparking up through the water, through the emotions. This is dialysis. You know how you kind of dilute stuff with water? Well, you can do the same thing with water in and of itself by itself. So when you have an electrostimulation, you can break water down into its components of hydrogen and oxygen. And oxygen is a very, I like to always say, burny. Oxygen will combust. But hydrogen is also blowy uppy or burny. So when I used to teach this in the classroom, I used to say, when you take something that wants to burn and blow up, and you take another thing that wants to burn and blow up, and you put them together, for some strange reason, we get the most opposite thing called water. But you have to realize that the burning and the blow up, those are not fires. Those are just forms of what it means to be passionate. So it's not looking at the flame or what energy you carry through place to place. It's looking at the light that's shining from that repetitive flame that you're carrying. In other words, we had to evolve beyond adding one plus one plus one. We had to start multiplying. I got two happy associations. That means I got, or and two happier associations. I got four happy, but then I got one bad or negative. You can start to multiply those things. And now we're looking at integers or things that can be good or bad. We don't really care because it's going towards a direction now. We're going towards things that are being positive. So as we're repeating, we're starting to see how our emotions are shifting. And because we can see the shifts, we can see which emotions are causing the sparks. And because we're not in the emotion anymore, and we're sitting there watching the emotion be sparked around us, whether that's through people's passions or passions that are being quelled around us. In other words, your presence is bruising people's egos. The big key is that we can see. And what we can see is the emotions, but what we have to see is how we are the emperor of all said emotions. The energy that we've been calling back is here, and now we're welcoming in as the emperor that we truly are. Oh, and guess what? It's going to give you more passions. Oh, here's another thing. I'm glad this popped up. When I was walking and I was starting to have negative thoughts, I realized that I can put this negative thought and that negative thought, and I literally started teeter-tottering as if I was tempering. And I triggered myself by reminding myself that I can just temper, but then I enacted what it means to temper. So I just imagined in my mind me taking a pitcher and me pouring some water inside of a glass, and then taking a pitcher and me pouring some lemon juice into the same glass. And if I did it at the same time, it was different from when I did it this way or that way, and it just had me focusing on something completely different. This is what we call mindfulness. But because I was able to redirect the thought and I took action, my emotions were still allowed to flow and continue on this pathway, but I was in a position to where I can see them both happen. And they both happened at mature levels, the king of candles, the king of potions, because I'm at an even more mature state. In other words, the only reason why I can be the emperor is because I can sit back and I can receive how I'm responding without reacting externally. I can take in the data. And that's what the emperor does. It is a masculine energy applying feminine principles. In other words, it's input data. It's receiving what's going on and then it's going to strategize, or what we like to call process. But the strategy or the processing of what is being received. It happens at this high mature level because this masculine is embedded within the feminine energy of the environment. In other words, he has to fill the environment out and receive data from different parts, just like a woman would when she's receiving stimuli from, the baby kind of thing, or she's receiving stimuli from the multitudes of her complex emotions. The idea is that because she is sitting back and she can absorb and sense them all, she has an environment that is completely controllable. But when he, the emperor, is inside of an environment that's already controlled, he has to view the chaos as being controlled. He just needs to know how to strategically tap in to those chaotic waters that are immersed around him. But the way he does that is by tempering his own water so he can acknowledge the expressions of others. How does this happen? Man, this is such an amazing reading. He does this by being the magician about creating new routines or new physical outlets that will allow sharing of the emotions. You got both the king and the queen of potions out. So again, going back to how the only way you can be the emperor or the empress is to have balance of both at a polarity. It's a paradox, is how we view this. It's a very masculine man who is loving and caring in a teddy bear. He's a warring, warrior who is a successful general, violent and killer, but he comes home, he's a teddy bear and he loves, and, he's a sweetheart who bakes cookies for motherfuckers. Like, how can he be both of these? Well, it's because the environment are dictating how he responds in the manner of his masculinity. He's going to need he's going to need an environment that requires him to be needed. So when people need things, he can provide things and take actions. Versus on the flip side, the empress, she doesn't need the environment, she creates the environment. So as she is going on her, again, external side, her masculine energy, as the mom is injecting, the chores and the behaviors and all the household activities, as she is taking action on those things, her internal response is being stimulated. In other words, she's trying to be a masculine foe to her internal chaos. She's trying to be the hot dude who's going to go inside and make her feel all nice, warm, and cozy. But he is swooning all the friends in the friend group, making everybody feel good. Even the ones who would get jealous, they ain't even jealous, they happy. That's how a woman kind of feels about the masculine energy. She is looking at being able to have all different makeups of her, all different varieties of her, all of her different moods. She wants all of them to be satisfied. Like, everybody should be happy. But when the woman is taking action, she should be taking action that should be making a part of her happy. So when the man is around in the environment, he can see the small steps that she's taking. And it's taking her a long time because she has to do a bunch of little things, micros. He can go in and he can start to strategize and see how he can create pathways of larger steps for the female. But the female is moving across the whole board as it does in chess. She is everywhere doing it all. But the masculine is strategizing and moving the board based upon his own position in order for the queen to masterfully move across the board. Not just move and, be put in a position to where she's hurting herself, like trying to carry the baby, two babies in, trying to cook and stir the pot, like one of the babies over the stove burning. What you doing? Like, the idea is like, because she can put herself in that position to where she can satisfy parts of her own self with the same actions. It's just her thinking about it differently. She's taking action that will allow, again, when I'm talking about I'm talking about that energy within you The energy within you will now allow you to not only see all of the energy that you're able to give, you're able to receive all of the energy that you're not giving. In other words, because you can receive, you can take in different avenues that will stimulate who you are, what you are, how you feeling, all of the things that will make a house go. Again, this is the concept of happy life, happy wife. If mom is happy, and everything is getting done the way she wants, getting done the way she wants, then again, everybody can receive. But if you know how to feel about the things that you want done, then you can have the same energy to get it done because you're the magician. This magician energy is allowing you to sit back, give out the emotions, receive the emotions that's being given, give out the passions, receive the passions that's being given, but you can give to yourself. In other words, you can even include your own data points as you're absorbing the data points of your environment. As you're absorbing the environment and as you're absorbing your internal environment, think of this as the cell, okay? And inside the animal cell, you have the cell itself, and then you got a nucleus. So that's the environmental aspect. But then inside the nucleus, you have another environment, and then you got a piece called the nucleolus. That inside is what we're talking about in regards to this feminine inside. She has to receive twice. Look at the two on the tail. The idea is when she's receiving twice, what she's doing is the one action that she's taking is going to be received by herself and it's going to be received by the environment. You can kind of say that with everybody, but the reason why this is important is because she's actually responding already to the environment. She's acting, she's output energy on the environment, whereas the male is input energy into the environment. He's receiving what is being put into the environment. I'm absorbing things like the sunlight going outside in, photosynthesis, receiving the light like I'm tanning, versus this is me going outside to tan. This is me going outside, or excuse me, before going outside, I'm prepping my body before I go tan, kind of thing. Sunscreen and oils, whatever. That's the difference. I'm going to take action so I can receive. My action is to receive. But I'm acting so I can do what? Receive. But you're acting so you can receive the pathway that you can create upon how you are mastering the energies that you're calling back and the energies that you have around you. So let's get one final message. And then I can get back to this football game. I needed to definitely do this reading because I feel so much better. All right, what's the final message? I mean, bro, I can't really make it up. Oh yeah, with the Six of Presents. So you gotta go give yourself some new avenues to release these energies. Release the energies means to receive the things around you by allowing yourself to view those things around you differently. Again, shift your energy from always needing to do to possibly just needing to receive. Go from one extreme to the other because your attempt at going to the opposite extreme is actually going to moderate itself if you give it a little bit of time because you're not built that way. You're built for the west side, and so if you go to the east side, you won't be able to stay on the east side for too long. You're probably going to have to go back towards the center of the track. So you're like the center west. Maybe you can float on over to the center east, but you can't go all the way over to the east side if you're from the west side. That's the idea. You gotta see yourself with this masculine feminine cups energy, or potions in this case. The cups and the potions, they vary in one simple case. This queen is in a cauldron or like a cup, again, swimming in her own emotions, versus this king of potions. He's bottling them up just like if I had to put them inside a soda bottle or refill my water bottle, my Stanley. I am taking what I have around me and encapsulating it so I can do something with it. And what are we going to do? I'm going to spark my passions, but my passions are sparked based upon the magic that I can create through the routines I can build from the new feelings I'm receiving about the feelings that I already have inside of me. I'm just bringing a new light to it. So, as you do that, you'll find balance in the things that you should be doing versus should not be doing. Oh, even more so, you go from the six of presents, meaning like you're gifting, you're putting work, you're wrapping presents, you're gifting parts of you, you're showing the little trinkets that they could possibly expand upon. You're just being happy with yourself. And it's simple. You're just putting a face on a feeling that you got what is associated with a thought, and you're being a therapist. You're just listening to that part, asking hard questions, being mad, being soft. You're being however, but you're not allowing the emotions to dictate the thought, and you're not letting the thought carried by the emotions dictate your change. You are the one providing and volunteering the energy. And what that does for you is it allows you to move through your passions. Again, the passions created through the conflicts of others' passions. In other words, you're the emperor. You're using your emperor energy just to stand chill and be that boss. So, all right, people, I appreciate y'all being here. I don't know how long or how short this was, but I feel like that was a great message. And with that being said, keep looking and searching for you. Keep being mature and growing and finding the pathways to express all of yourself, even if it's like as simple as a bath or a pajama party or, a nice little walk or hike. All right, I'm Mr. Anu. I'll see you next.